I'm Becky Hughes, also known as the Nifty Thrifter. Last year, I bought no new clothes. This year, I'm on a mission to explore the future of the slow fashion industry. With fast fashion emitting more carbon than all international flights, it's time we took a more sustainable approach. With more and more people becoming aware of slow fashion, why is fast fashion still growing? It's time to ask the leaders of the slow fashion industry themselves. So I'm here with the founder of Sanchos, Calcadan. So what makes Sanchos a slow fashion brand?
Just everything that we sell is natural, so we don't sell synthetic materials or garments. Sanchos started because people needed a place where they could go and trust that things were ethically sourced. Like, we wanted to do that job for our customers, and so we opened our store.
Why do you think it is that fast fashion is still growing?
On one end, they are the individual's responsibility, so how much do individuals really think about their role in the kind of supply-demand cycle. But I also think, like, looking beyond the consumer, I think that the companies producing fast fashion don't have any incentive that really requires them to change their ways. So at the moment, there's no real cost of producing clothing that ends up in landfill. Last summer, there was a report produced called the Fixed Fashion Programme, looking at ways in which fast fashion companies could help pay for the recycling of the garments. So there's a 1p charge to be, taxed onto items to pay for the cost of actually managing the recycling and the organisation of items once they become waste. But that was rejected. That report was rejected, and until there's regulation that kind of re-incentivizes those businesses to make decisions that are more environmentally sound, then they have this huge financial reward for producing as much as possible, as cheap as possible, and selling as many units as they can in the smallest amount of time.
At the moment, you see a lot on Instagram, a lot on social media in general, this disposable nature towards clothes. I see a lot of influencers posting a dress that they'll wear for one event or one day, or even just for that picture alone. So we can't eliminate fast fashion. How do we encourage a more sustainable approach?
I think if people knew more about those garments, so if they don't think of like a purchase as just one thing that they have until, they've maybe taken it to a charity shop or they've stopped using it, but actually think about, okay, well, how is this fabric made? How much land was used? How much water was used? Maybe they would realise that the price they're paying isn't a true reflection of the price of that item. For us, campaigning is so important. So every year we hold a event that brings the whole community together and really celebrates slow and sustainable fashion in the Southwest. We want to be the change we want to see in the world.
We're here with Debbie and Duncan from Finisterre. I just wondered, what makes Finisterre a slow fashion brand?
In a way, because we were born in that way, it's sort of in our DNA. So we want our customers to buy into our goods and have them for as long as possible. And recently, we have launched our Leave No Trace packaging.
Brands like Finisterre are acquiring new customers all the time. That's why it's so important to have a retail space, like a store that we have, so that we can invite customers in and have those open discussions about their impact on the environment and their behaviour and how they shop.
So why aren't more retailers doing this?
Quite simply, it's cost. So ultimately, if you introduce more higher quality fabrics and you introduce circular systems, all of those things, they add cost. And I think, the more that you sort of consider that purchase and, maybe pay a little bit more for that purchase, the more likely that you will look after it and cherish it.
So do you see an optimistic outlook for slow fashion?
Absolutely. I think change has to happen. It's not something we can stay in denial. I think there's some sort of preconceptions that we need to dispel around sustainable and slow fashion being maybe that kind of eco kind of look. seeing it as a really positive, empowering movement is really important. That you're not it's not an anti-movement, you're not against business, you're not against the fashion or clothing industry.
Yeah, it's kind of seeing slow fashion as well as not being restrictive. You can still build an identity, like you can still completely be yourself in this sort of realm as well. You don't need fast fashion to kind of feed that as well.
Yeah, even more so. I mean, that's the thing, like with slow fashion, you're going to be even more individual because actually fast fashion is huge volumes of the same stuff pumped into the market. So actually the likelihood of you looking the same as somebody else in your class is actually really high.
Yeah.
And I think the only way really to change behaviour is with positivity and sort of treating it as a movement, coming together as a community to affect change and move forwards.
We as consumers have the power to make more sustainable demands as well as choices. Visiting these brands has shown me that the time of disposable fashion is officially over, and now slow fashion is evolving stronger than ever. It's time to ask the who, what, why and where about our clothes. So, let's go slow.